When I first started my own house renovation, I was so excited. It was my first home and I had all these grand ideas, but let me tell you, nothing could have prepared me for the roller coaster ride I was about to embark on. From unexpected delays to budget blowouts, I faced a ton of challenges and made some mistakes, so I want to help you to avoid these. So in this video, I'll be sharing what the three most unexpected challenges I faced during my home renovation, how to plan for these pitfalls, and practical tips to help you manage or avoid them completely to prevent stress and costly mistakes. And if you implement these tips, let me know how you get on in the comments. So, a Victorian terraced house is like an old book. On the surface, it might seem perfectly fine, but once you start flipping through the pages, you uncover notes in the margins, missing chapters, and even a few coffee stains that were invisible at first glance. This brings me to the first challenge, addressing internal structural elements like outdated wiring, dampness, and functional layouts. These old houses were built for simpler times before modern conveniences like central heating, advanced lighting, and the need for ample storage. They weren't designed with today's lifestyle in mind, and that's where careful planning becomes crucial. So, first things first, a thorough inspection is a non-negotiable. Having professionals inspect the wiring, plumbing, and structural integrity can save you from nasty surprises down the line. You might think everything looks fine, but without a proper inspection, you're risking costly repairs that could have been avoided. Trust me, it's much better to know upfront what you're dealing with so you can budget and plan accordingly. Secondly, planning the functionality of each room is key. Consider heating, lighting, and storage as the three pillars of a modern, comfortable home. Old houses weren't built to be energy efficient, so ensuring rooms are well insulated and heated is vital to keep them warm and cosy. Lighting is another big one. These houses often have limited natural light or just one ceiling light, so you want to plan your artificial lighting to enhance the space, making sure it supports your daily activities, whether that's cooking, working, or relaxing. And then there's storage. Victorian homes weren't built with our modern clutter in mind. There were no gym bags, travel cases, or the endless array of gadgets we have today. You need to think ahead about where you'll store these items so that they're easily accessible but don't clutter up your living space. Incorporate built-in storage where you can, like under the bed for those small suitcases you frequently use, or in alcoves for everyday essentials. This way, you're not constantly trekking to the loft for things that you use regularly. So before you even pick up a paintbrush, make sure to get that inspection done and plan out the functionality of each room. It's all about making sure your home not only looks good, but works for your lifestyle too. Sometimes renovations can feel like a race against the clock, but the clock can be rigged, especially when you think about how renovation work can be like dominoes. One little push can set up a whole chain of events. Now, this isn't about the internal pressure you might put on yourself if you're doing DIY. Remember to be kind to yourself. There's always a long list of things to do. The real challenge here is staying on schedule when coordinating deliveries with contractors or trades. You don't want to miss your slot with them, but no matter how well you plan, something will always come up to throw you off your timeline. Let me share a personal experience. So when we were installing the stair trims, I wasn't 100% happy with the colour match, but the fitter was already there, and delaying him would have pushed back the entire flooring installation throughout the house. So I went with it. It's not something I notice too much now, but it's one of those things that could have been resolved if I had allowed some buffer time to make adjustments. I learned my lesson and made sure not to make the same mistake with my bathroom tiles. This time, I ordered the tiles well in advance, giving myself enough time to check them before the fitter arrived. I wanted to ensure the veining on the tiles created the drama I envisioned across the wall, rather than having plain patches interrupting the flow. Because I built in that extra time, I was able to exchange any tiles that didn't meet my expectations without any stress or delays. So my advice, build in buffer time for every stage of your renovation. This allows you to deal with supply issues or the occasional faulty product without derailing your entire schedule. And when things do go off track, and they inevitably will, it helps remove the panic and stress. Work can then keep moving forward, albeit slightly slower, but remember, forward is forward, and giving yourself that extra breathing room can make all the difference in achieving the result you truly want. And now, the biggest challenge of all, imagine you're climbing a mountain, and just when you think you're near the top, you realise there's still a small but steep climb ahead, but you're running out of supplies. That's exactly how it felt when my budget started drying up and then a water leak started dripping down into our dining room. I'd already underestimated and overspent on materials in other areas of the house. So when this unexpected extra came up, I was faced with a tough decision. Our plumber's first assessment was that he might need to access the leak from above in the upstairs hallway, which would have meant ripping up all the new flooring we just installed and paid for. My heart sank as ruining our new flooring would not only set us back on time, but also on budget. But here's where a bit of quick thinking came in handy. Since our dining room and kitchen are scheduled for renovation soon, I suggested he try knocking through the dining room ceiling first to see if he could access the leak from below. Luck was on our side, as he was able to reach and fix the leak without touching the new flooring, but I couldn't help but think how costly it would have been if the dining room had already been renovated. So this experience taught me a crucial lesson. Don't get carried away and overspend your budget. It's easier said than done, but one way to safeguard against this is to build a financial buffer right from the start. Before you even begin, get multiple quotes, do your research on material costs, and always overestimate rather than underestimate. As a rule of thumb, add an extra 10% to your budget for those just in case moments. Trust me, it's better to have some money left over than to be caught short right at the end. Also, when it comes to budgeting, going cheap in a home renovation can sometimes be the worst mistake you can make. So I highly recommend that you watch this video here to know what you should do instead.